Peace, family. Vie Darling, the Cosmic Queen, and your intergalactic interpreter. And I wanted to make this message on live just so that, in case anything happens, it doesn't disappear, because somebody really does not want this message to get out, and they are trying to do absolutely everything in their power to keep me from sharing it. And you know what I have to say to that? Fuck that. So I'm going to share a prophecy that I downloaded. Oops. I said the F word. I'm going to try not to swear. I'm going to share a prophecy that I downloaded last night. I was watching documentary now, and there is an episode where Alexander Skarsgård is playing a filmmaker, like a Werner Herzog type filmmaker, and his name is Reiner, and they're in a cave, and this cave is it reminded me of that cave in that mine near where CERN is, and it made me think about that dance, that viral dance that people saw going on. And the download that I got was Shaitan's human minions are using it to create a wormhole to bring in their hordes, and this will act as the hand of justice that all who are righteous will be spared by mere fact of their inability to meet us on a frequency level. I believe many people will be falling into the depths of depravity, and that much grape, unaliving, and pillaging will be happening. Substance abuses and related endings will be imminent, life endings. Personal self-unaliving rates will go up. The stock market and the American economy will crash, and they will beg for being spared, but alas, their time has come, because they were given too many opportunities for decades and generations. They were given opportunities for years and years, but they wouldn't take them. Passover is 𝗧𝗵𝗿𝗲𝗍 time. May the blessed be protected, and the angels mercifully make their justice swift. Passover was on Monday. Today is Wednesday, the 24th of April. And so I titled this live, the Heaven's Gateway portal, because that's what we're in right now. Monday was also the conjunction between, Saturday was the conjunction between Uranus and Jupiter, which went exactly direct on Saturday. And then on the 22nd, 2 days ago, that was Monday, Jupiter moved to 22 degrees, and tomorrow on the 25th, Uranus will be moving to 22 degrees as well, so they will be conjunct once again. I am going to get my sage. So one thing that I want to just start off by saying is that everybody needs to be doing spiritual protections right now. It's not just the usual suspects, okay? One of the energies that I was getting this morning was that it's actually powers and principalities. And like I said, the agents of the human minions of Shaitan. Okay, because when I was experiencing entity attachments earlier today, I was like, what is this? Where is this coming from? Why is this happening? And instead of freaking out, I went inward to go and exercise them. And guess what? It was stuff that was meant to be purposefully triggering and meant to get me out of alignment and meant to make me act out and behave in a way that I would not be proud of. And what I ended up doing was I went in and I asked who the energy was, who sent them, all of this. And at one point I realized that it was triple letter energy. And I did what I do to exercise them. You all may or may not have your own form of like, whatever you do to exercise them. To exercise entities and energies, but what I want you to do is to do it. And it's not enough to just do the energy work. You also need to do the magical practices. I don't care if you're some new age, freaking like new world, I don't have any like actual magical lineage type person. If you think that you're a shaman and you're not doing magic, you ain't shit, okay? I'm gonna let you know that right now. Whatever you think you're doing, you're not fucking with the big boys. Got it? I come from 2 lines of powerful priestesses, priests, shamans, sorcerers, what have you. And that is some anti-indigenous BS. Whoever is telling you, and it's some Princess Bubblegum type shit too. Whoever is telling you that you don't need that, like, oh, you don't need to do magic when you are being faced with magical attacks is lying to you. And they cannot help you. Okay? Don't let these anti-indigenous, self-righteous fools make you think a type of way. Because, there was a time where I was just like, well, I don't really need to do magic because I can just do the energy work on myself. That was something that I needed to learn, but that time is not right now. Right now, I myself, as well as other people that I've done readings for, are being told to actually go back to the old ways. Like, actually do the magics. Okay? It's not enough to just visualize yourself purified in the shower. You need to get the salt and do a salt cleanse. Okay? You need to get that vinegar out and get to scrubbing. You need to pour libations if you're not menstruating. Okay? You need to be doing some real, actual work. Because there's a charlatan energy in the ethers. Ever since I started writing insights for the platform that I write insights for, I started picking up this mischievous trickster energy. And it's not just a mischievous trickster energy, it's actually like, I call it the charlatan. And I think that the interesting thing about this charlatan energy is that, like, Cat Williams said, basically, he didn't say shaitan, I'm going to say shaitan. Shaitan cannot create. Shaitan doesn't have creative power. When you are not connected to the Most High, when you're not connected to Source, when you are not connected to the divine, you don't have creative power. My bangs look so dumb ever since I put that headband on. This is like so stupid. So you might be getting distracted by like vanity things. Like, and they're just distractions. You know what I mean? If you right now are sitting around obsessing over your weight and it's not because of a health issue, it's just because like you are being vain, like that's a distraction. If you are being distracted with paradigms from the past, old relationships, I know it's Mercury retrograde, exactly. Old relationships, things like this that no longer serve you, old dynamics, things like that. Queen of Swords energy, you already know what to do. So why are you allowing yourself to get distracted? We're not doing that. Okay, and it's funny that I put on this white dragon music because the violet flame music stopped working. There's a lot of technological malfunctioning going on. And it's beyond just Mercury retrograde. It's like short circuiting of the false matrix. You need to be doing these kinds of cleansings because it's the powers that be that are throwing magics on these collectives. The charlatan energy is a trickster, and it is what you might refer to as the devil. And I actually want to go into my insights and find specifically the charlatan when he first appears. In the insights. Was it January? Whoa, it was January 15th to 21. Okay. On the 19th, I gave a trigger warning for that day because of this energy. Very unsavory trickster energy out and about today. Narcissistic, transgressing boundaries, abuser energy. It is, in my opinion, very scary because it feels unhinged, which I do not like. Total energy vampires. So this is having to do with the vampires. Now remember, also, Alexander Skarsgård played a vampire on... I want to say Buffy, but why have I been thinking about Buffy so much lately as well, and the Scooby Gang? But on True Blood. If you haven't watched True Blood and you're an Earth Angel, go watch it, okay? Total energy vampire, and they are known to unalive when desperate. I list a few different ways I sense it manifesting, only to give a more clear idea of what I'm picking up on, but it's going to be different for everyone. I really need hot water right now because I ate something that had egg in it, and I just my throat feels so fucked up. I don't know why I did that to myself, but one of the keywords that I got was the devil because that is the tarot card that was coming up for me. But when I describe this to you, I really hate this energy. The word coming up is charlatan. It's like this old school folksy way of representing the devil as a dark, swarthy, charming carny with a huge shit-eating grin and big-ass chompers who comes to town like that kind of. Oh my goodness, what did my nephew call it? You know those backpacks and those toys that have those sharp teeth? And fuzzy wuzzy, or not fuzzy wuzzy. I don't remember what it's called, but my nephew, kids are super into these brightly colored furry toys and backpacks, and they have red lips and really sharp teeth. They're actually really scary. It had that kind of a smile. It was kind of like a Cheshire Cat type of smile. And do you remember the Cheshire Cat actually was a trickster energy, if we're being real. Chompers who comes to town from God knows where looking to broker deals. What does that sound like? That comes from this universe. We don't even know where it came from, how it got here, why it's here. Isn't that type of energy? He may hustle you out of an arm, and they're looking to broker deals because they can't control anything. They can't create anything. So all that they can do is trick you into giving over your energy, your agency, your power. He may hustle you out of an arm and a leg, literally. Loan shark type cat. I'm hearing catfish, like someone is calling you, pretending to be some sort of government agency to steal your identity type shit. This is giving destiny swapping. So for some of you, somebody tried to swap destinies with you. Some of you, somebody really tried to swap destinies with you. And the reason why the Seven of Swords comes out in reverse, because it is stealing. It's stealing ideas. It's stealing intellectual property is what I'm getting. But ultimately, it comes down to it. It's the seven of thievery. It means that somebody from outside, like another person, place, thing, entity, energy, is taking away from you. But we get it in reverse, because what has been taken away from you is being given back to you. You know why? Because the tables are turning. Yes, fortune is turning. Fortune favors the bold. It don't favor no weak bitches. Fortune favors the bold. Who is the bold? The courageous. Those who are willing to do what it takes to break paradigms, to break the wheel. I'm talking about Daenerys Targaryen type shit. You feel me? And like I said, what did I say about the white dragon? The white dragon of Sophia, the white dragon of Christ. This is the energy of crystalline consciousness. I started doing this reading 3 other times. One of the cards that I pulled from the Work Your Light Oracle deck was the Star Mother, Sophia, Sophocles, wisdom, sophistication. When we think about the basal ganglia, we think about that, and that is what psychologists literally call the reptilian brain. That is where the primal functioning is. That is where your electricity flees to when you are experiencing a trauma response. When you go into, what is the term? Primal mode, but like survival mode. So when you're experiencing fight or flight. Now there's also fawn. And there's freeze as well. Fight, freeze, fight, flight, freeze, and fawn. Now, I would say that fawn is actually a more sophisticated trauma response than the first 3. And in fact, I would even say that freeze in its own way is a little bit more sophisticated too. But the point is, that is the primal brain. That's the part of the brain that developed first. But through evolution, we developed the frontal lobes. And the frontal lobes are where we have more complex brain functioning. That stuff that isn't finished developing until you're about 21 to 25 years old. That is where we have language processing. So when you are experiencing a trauma response, you may lose your ability to create sentences and use your words because you're not operating in that part of your brain anymore. That's where we do things like math. But really what I want to bring up is that is where psychologists say sophisticated thought, like I said, Sophia, sophisticated thought, such as problem solving, occurs. What is math if not problem solving? And as a writer, I can tell you that writing in and of itself, the crafting of language in and of itself, is meant to be a solution to a problem, an inability to effectively communicate. Because language is but a tool. It is an instrument. It is a technology of mankind. In Lemuria, in earlier civilizations, we didn't need to use words. And that's why in a lot of pre-colonial language, outside of a lot of Romance languages, people will use grunts to communicate. And that's not seen as barbaric. It's because we're communicating by energy. You know who needs to use a lot of words? Liars. They need to use a lot of words, and they need to confuse you. Why? So that you won't be paying attention to their energy. Because if you're busy paying attention to their energy and not their words, you're going to know that they're fucking lying. And what are we talking about if not this charlatan energy? Somebody who's not a charlatan, somebody who has creative power doesn't need to steal. What a waste of time. Why would I need to steal what you have when I have the gift of the divine? I can create on my own. But when you're not connected to source anymore, when you're no longer in alignment with the Most High Divine Creator, what are you capable of doing? You have to steal. You have to manipulate. You have to exploit. This is the energy of the false matrix. Because you might think that it's, oh, the man, the man, the man. The man, Shiva is the agent of Shakti. The masculine is the servant of the feminine. Know that much. That is a spiritual rule. Look at any ancient spiritual system, and that is the fact of the matter. Look at the Aboriginals of Australia. Isn't that island called Oceania? Actually, that it's not an island, it's a continent, but whatever. Look at that continent. The Aboriginal people believed that originally in the dream time, there were 2 females and 1 male. I'm not going to get into the descriptions because I think that it's a little bit too graphic to say on here without getting censored. Because something that I was downloading today as well is that if you thought that censorship by the FCC on the television was bad, the way that we get censored on social media is worse. Is it not? The way that we get censored, and this all comes from net neutrality. And why does net neutrality exist? So much of the issue with like this new ban happening on the quote unquote clock app, I don't think it's only because of what's going on in global politics. I think a lot of it also has to do with the fact that it's not being regulated the way that the US commerce system wants it to be regulated, because too many people are finding economic freedom through the clock app. We already know the meta apps are bought and sold, so you don't need to worry about that. If you are old enough to remember what it was like when the internet and social media first, not even just the internet, because I'm not going to sit here and lie and act like, you know, I mean, I was born in 1994. So I was six in the year 2000, and we had a computer at home, but we usually would use the internet when we'd go to the library for my older siblings to be able to use the computer. And, you know, when I was more so, I had agency when social media first really started becoming a thing. And if you remember that time period, what it was like to be on the internet, what it was like to be online, it was to be in a place. It was pioneering a literal culture without borders in the most real sense. It was infinite, and it was very much like the Wild West. What are the colonial powers going to do except colonize? And why do they need to go out from their shores and colonize? Because they cannot till their infertile soil. Why can't they? Because the false matrix is a false matrix. It's a barren womb. But we have the restoration of the Star Mother coming in here. The return of the Christos, the return of the crystalline. 5D Earth, 5G New Earth. If you didn't watch my earthquake video, go watch it. You know, and I also was listening to Earthquake by Tyler, the Creator, recently. You don't need to steal when you can create on your own. But it's really hard to create when you are in trauma mode, when you are in your primal brain, when you are in your basal ganglia, which is called the reptilian brain, right? The Aeons are dragons. And let me just tell a little bit of a story. I guess this is the time to tell it. So the Aeons, the primordial forces, are the dragons, essentially. And the primordial forces came together to create all that is. That's essentially, I guess, a personification of what happened in the Big Bang. And I've talked about this on live before. I know for a fact that I did, so go back and watch my other lives. But this is talking about at the Big Bang, there were certain compounds and there were certain natural gases that existed. But there weren't very many of them. I want to say 4. I really want to say 4 for some reason, but I'm pretty sure that it was more than that. It was maybe like 4 to 6. Don't quote me on that. It's been a while since I took physics. And over time, those gases decomposed and created the rest of the periodic table of elements through their decomposition over time. So the original elements are the primordial forces. The primordial forces, the aeons, the dragons. Now, let's just say, for saying's sake, that there are, all of these forces come together to create the cosmos, because that's true. And then we have terras, Terras. And we have celestial bodies and planets and so on and so forth. And before there are even planets, let's talk about stars. There are stars. There are star systems that are created, and then the star systems pull into their orbit like planets, and the planets have their own satellites, which are called moons. Maybe there are some comets, maybe there are some asteroids and asteroid belts, and all this stuff that happens in the cosmos that all seem to coalesce around these stars. But the stars are not just hanging out by themselves. No, the stars create galaxies, and the galaxies exists in clusters, and then they exist in like local neighborhoods and super clusters. And this goes on and this goes on. I used to have a really great image for this from my astronomy textbook. But, here on Earth, we live in the Milky Way galaxy, and the Milky Way galaxy exists in the Virgo supercluster, I believe. And so there are an infinite, really, amount of star systems and galaxies. It's I would say inquantifiable to the human mind, probably, to consider how many planets exist, because most people don't even know how to contextualize themselves within the universe, the physical universe, because people aren't taught these kinds of things. So to think that we're all that's out there, that's a huge joke, and that's actually crazy. But think of it this way. And also, astronomers and quantum physicists say our sun, it's not that particularly special of a sun. It's not even super close to or super far away from the center of the Milky Way galaxy. It's just kind of there doing its little old thing. And yet we think that we're the center of the world, of the universe, rather. But I just talked about the universe, and I mean, there are parts of the universe like that I'm even forgetting. You know what I mean? And I'm going to speak to the people who can actually understand what I'm talking about right now. When a celestial is embodied and having an incarnate experience, because celestials obviously have their own form of consciousness. We obviously know that the planet is alive and it's living and breathing. That's what is happening in nature. If that weren't the case, how the fuck would you be living and breathing? You're nothing if not an extension of the planet. This is your spacesuit. And thank God for the habitable experience that we have here. But as I'm saying it, I'm channeling this, that it's kind of insane that there's this like huge obsession with finding other habitable planets, because all planets are habitable. Not by Earthlings, maybe, but you don't need to be attached to this Earth body. True alchemists are not obsessed with this Earth body. I've had lifetimes on Venus. I've had lifetimes a lot of places. This is my first time on Earth. Surprise. And then there's some of us who just don't even like to incarnate at all. Well, as a human being, I've chosen not to be a human being for many of my lifetimes, but I have been on Earth many, many times before. I'm very familiar with Earth. And so I say this all to say, these celestials, okay, these forces that came to essentially colonize the planet Earth, it wasn't in a harmful capacity. It was to create life, because they had to come here to seed life, not to control or marginalize or exploit, but to create. And this is the thing that is the problem, is that when we think about like this idea of colonizing Earth, we think about it from this way that the false matrix, the Shaitan, the adversary, did it here on Earth. And what they've taught us about that practice of going and giving life to something. But they've never given life to anything. They've only ever given death. How is it that, they first come here to Turtle Island and you're so dirty and disgusting and full of disease that you cause a plague? That's not sophistication. That's just disgusting. You're so dirty and disgusting. Everywhere you go, people are dying. How could it possibly be that you are from a sophisticated civilization? That's not a civilization at all. You understand me? So these energies, these primordial energies, came to Earth to seed life. And over eons, were then able to incarnate. In a sense, you can say that this is like the story of the Orishas. I will speak specifically to what I have been taught within African spirituality by my teacher, who is of the Akan tribe. Our family gods, each of our families has a family god, or family gods rather, and they are the progenitors of our lines. Some of you are your own ancestors. And the great gods are coming back to life, or waking up and incarnating on Earth again. These icons that y'all made your gods, they're not really the gods. I'm looking at this white dragon because you're going to really see what it's like to have the gods be awake on Earth again. Oh, celebrities are the new gods. They're the new icons. These jokers have nothing on the true gods who are awakening again. Here at this nexus of ages. Here at this changing of the guard. The changing of the guard happened. It started with the Saturn-Jupiter conjunction, which we called the Great Conjunction, that happened around solstice 21 December 2020, correct? And now, as I said, we've just had the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, and then Jupiter moved to 22 degrees, and Uranus is moving there tomorrow. And I'm calling this palindrome period that we have from the 20th to the 29th of February, the Heaven's Gate portal. This is a crucial time to stay in your power, because the charlatan, the false matrix, the false mother sure does want to get you out of your power so that you cannot come into alignment. Let me tell you something. You've been sitting at Heaven's Gate, watching the chaos ensue as you were prepared for the opening of the gate. Go back and watch that solstice video. I think it's the vernal equinox from last year. I talk about it in that video. It's a 3-part video. 7 of Swords. Everything that was stolen is coming back to us. And look at this Ace of Pentacles energy. Creator is saying in a way that you can't even understand. It's like, oh, 10 times 10 is what I was hearing before. And I know another reader that I follow and who I love, 𝗧𝗵𝗿𝗲𝗍 Slayani of Spirit Guide Intuitions, y'all go give her a follow, was saying 10-figure income. This is an amount of, this is abundance, prosperity that is incomprehensible to the human mind. So these celestials take form on Earth. And they create bloodlines. And then the progenitor of the bloodline maybe decides to leave. Or, maybe the Earth descends into a vibrational frequency where it's too dense for them to exist and they have to leave. And then maybe something happens where a certain spiritually bankrupt, broke-ass energy, this charlatan energy, let's say. In my notes, I wrote, they want to steal your destiny. I want to finish what I'm saying because I'm going to too many places right now, and they come here and they see that these, the descendants of these godlike beings, these aeons, these gods on Earth, the bringers of life to Earth, those who seeded life on Earth, their descendants are the priest kings and priestess queens, the emperors and empresses of the civilizations across the planet. And they find a way to trick certain lineages into betraying. This is a Judas timeline. But Spirit is saying, don't bring up Judas. So, I haven't read the Gospel of Judas yet, so I don't have my own interpretation. But betrayal. If you think about it, betrayal is what turned Lilith, into who she became in the story from Judaism. They are convinced somehow, perhaps under pain of death, to betray the other lineages. If there are 7 lineages, 2 or 3, 2 maybe fell first, then maybe they convinced a third. But it gets to the point where these lineages are corrupted from within, and they're able to consolidate power, not because they're better than, but actually because they're more depraved and they're willing to do more evil stuff than the others. Let me turn this music down. Okay, they're willing to do more evil stuff than the others. And so it truly is a civil war in the cosmos. Because, the celestials, the cosmic court. What is the word that I've been, this word has been escaping me for months. The celestial, it's not battalion, it's not army. The host, the entire heavenly host. Some of them fall. They descend along the mortal coil. And we know this from the Apocryphon of John. We know this from the book of Enoch. Certain angels, as they are called, The angels are the gods of Abrahamic religion. Certain angels, certain celestials incarnated on earth to be the watchers, to do a job, to shepherd. I'm hearing the word herald. To maintain balance and order. And those who abused that power, they were the fallen. And they descended in frequency and they descended in rank. They lost rank. And what did they become? The non-believers. That's what Shaitan is. The non-believing entities, energies, and spirits. The adversary, because that is what the word Shaitan translates to. This is linguistics. And that's what Shaitan is in Islam. And that's what the word Shaitan means when you see it written in Hebrew. So the court of the fallen, this is why I keep saying the demons are lower ranking than the angels. They are cut from the same cloth. But they're not built the same, let me tell you. It's a lot like how Melkor kidnapped those elves and turned them and tortured them until they became orcs. If you know anything about Tolkien's Legendarium, that's the world that Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit is set in. That might really resonate with some of you, especially those of you who identify as Fae. Okay, so yeah, those lineages are fighting a civil war. You hear about the Seelie court versus the unseelie court. And you hear about the fall of humanity, the descent out of Lemuria into Atlantis, and then we get into these timelines that we're in now. Because consciousness has fallen. And or just being spiritual bankruptcy is on the rise. And that's where we get the idea of devolution instead of evolving. They are attempting to devolve. And I used to be so concerned about this because it's like, if this is what I am I bad? No, it's literally a civil war between these lineages that all come from the same source, but are fighting one another because some of them are corrupt. And that's what's happening now. They're weak. Where I'm hearing the song, Yes, Jesus Loves Me. They are weak, but he is strong. And I'm thinking about the crystallines and the ever-living water, the fountain, the high heart chakra, which is being restored on the planet. This is the work that we've been doing. When I put that call out on social media back in October, some of the main energy work that I myself was doing was to activate the heart, the cosmic heart of the planet Earth. And I had a bunch of really amazing light workers on my team at 8 p.m. Eastern every single day for several months, doing energy work on the planet, on the collective, praying, what have you, to shift timelines. And it's all paying off. Okay? I want to finish what I was saying about the charlatan, though. You are on the threshold of this huge newness in your life that you've spent the last lifetime, TBH, but let's say few weeks preparing for, and someone coming into your life is a phony. They want to sabotage your progress and keep you from achieving your dharma. They want to steal your destiny. They feel they deserve it, and they're willing to beg, borrow, lie, steal, and cheat to get it. What a lot of it is, a lot of these, I said powers and principalities, for we wage not war with flesh, but we wrestle with powers and principalities, corruption in high places, or in some translations, the cosmic powers. Doesn't that sound like the archons? I'm just saying. Some translations, it's the cosmic powers. And I'm just saying, maybe that kind of sounds like the archons. This is why I have holes in everything, because I'm always dropping some burning thing. Like a burning piece of incense or something. Okay. Some of you, it's going to be for lower vibrational people, it's going to be actual bodies, people in human bodies that this is happening with. But for me, it was I was watching my teacher, Paulvin, African Spiritual Connections on YouTube, Paulvin's video on spiritual marriages. And I think that this charlatan energy, and I knew it was a charlatan because Paulvin had encouraged me, if I feel like I'm being harassed by entities in the ethers, I should ask them who they are and what they want, and try and talk to them. I've already tried to talk to this energy before, a year ago. But when I asked who it was and I saw it with my sight, what I saw was it was trying to impersonate my divine counterpart, but it had that huge shit-eating grin that I told you about. And so for the past week, it's been trying to manipulate me and get into my energy and get me to allow it into my energy by pretending to be my spiritual partner, my divine counterpart, etherically. So I want you to know that you need to be careful. You need to be incredibly careful at this time. Especially for those of you who are telepathic and have your clairsenses activated. If you have an activated third eye chakra, that's your ajna, and you can communicate in the unseen, be very careful. Don't go astral projecting at this time. Stay blessed up and stay prayed up. That's why I said, because they're sending energies out. You feel me? The most important kinds of energetic work, the magics that you need to be doing, are protection works and cleansing works. Every single day and every single night you need to be cleansing. Every single day, what is that song? The song just came up and now it's gone, but and for some reason I'm hearing My Prerogative, but it's a very it's this charlatan energy feels like they should be allowed to do whatever they want to do. And why shouldn't they get to go to the gate. Why shouldn't they get to go to heaven's gateway portal? Why shouldn't they get to go to heaven? So they're trying to attach to us. They're trying to hitch a ride. And you can best believe this is why I've been picking up in the ethers that it's like powerful people who compromised their ability to move forward, because it doesn't matter if they try to atone right now. They've already done too much demonic shit in their life to make it through. And they know who is pure of heart and pure of soul, and they're trying to hitch a ride onto you. That's what this shit is. That's what this shit is. I also feel like that is coming kind of like, I want to say with that Page of Wands energy, actually. They're trying to make you feel like you're a Page of Wands. And in a way you are. This new energy that's coming in, like, it still feels like very new to you. You still feel like you have to learn how to use it, how to interact with it, how to engage with it. And that's why it might feel scary. It might feel like you don't know what to do. Like, what is this? What's going on here? Maybe you feel like you can't trust it. This is the only thing that you need to be trusting. Akasha, your guidance is divinely guided. Let me tell you, what is the Akash? The Akash is the ethers. What is the Akash? The Akash has to do with time. The time-space continuum. That's where the timeline, that's where it is. That's where all of the narratives are. The ethereal library, that's what it is. I'm hearing Saturn, I'm hearing Sentinel. They are trapped and they are trying to escape judgment because it is judgment. The day has come. The bell has been rung, okay? The horn has been blown. The bugle has been blown. That's why I was hearing herald. The herald of hell. They made it seem like I was trying to understand what the herald of hell meant, what they meant by the herald of hell. What I understand now about this herald of hell energy is like the herald, the Most High is using the hordes of hell to enact justice upon the lands. Sekhmet's justice, Kali's justice, is sure gonna look and feel like hell to a devil. But to those who are righteous and just, what have you to worry about? Nothing, because you are already at the gate of heaven. You're already at heaven's gate. So what do you have to fear? Nothing. Go through. It's happening now, the turning of the tide. The wheel of fortune is turning in your favor. Fortune favors the bold. You were the bold because you stood out like a sore thumb in the face of persecution, in the face of indictment, in the face of condemnation. In your courage, in your power, no matter how hard it was. Because to you, to not live in that light is the equivalent of dying, is it not? Unbound, releasing soul patterns, contracts, past lives. What did I say? I cannot make this up. What did I say? Lemuria, creating heaven on... What did I say? Y'all can't tell me nothing. I'm too good. I'm too nice with it. I'm just joking. It's all glory be to God. All glory be to the Most High, for who I simply am the messenger and a conduit of. But, you know, y'all saw me shuffle. It's happening. I want to cry. I want to cry. what did I say? The ever-flowing waters of life from the fountain, which is the high heart chakra. Sophia, Christos Sophia, returned to the earth plane. Since when? Since Lemuria, we have not experienced this. This is a return back to this dimensional existence. For some of us, for some of y'all never been here before. For some of us, this is where we came from. This is where we're from. Because the higher dimensions exist in a future timeline. Higher dimensions operate, they move at a faster frequency. That's why in the 3D, you cannot access it in the material realm. But in altered states of consciousness, or if you are an extra dimensional being anyway, and your consciousness already operates in multiple dimensions at once, you can experience it. That's why we love psychedelics. But if you can't access those realms without psychedelics, you can't access them, period. Someone wanted to say, well, yes, you can. No, you can't. The psychedelic can. You cannot. You don't have the keys. And that's what I said. Why do you need to be worried about these energies coming upon the earth? They can't reach you. They can't touch you. That's why this energy, the charlatan, has to do whatever it can to get you out of your power, to get you out of alignment, so that you will step out of the frequency of the Heaven's Gate portal, so that you will be out here with them, with the true heathens. They said that my ancestors were heathens. They said that the pagans were the heathens. No, they are the heathens. Those servants of Shaitan. How are you going to be a human serving Shaitan? Make that make sense. You're of a higher rank. You know why Iblis rebelled against heaven? Because he didn't want to be lower, quote unquote, lower in rank to Adam. That's why Iblis rebelled against heaven. Do you know who Iblis is? If you don't know who Iblis is, please go and find out before you ever try to talk to me about Satan or the devil. Because if you don't know who Iblis is, I'm not interested in having that conversation, because it's not actually fair. We're not on the equal playing field. We're not on the same footing. Find out who Iblis is. People want to talk about Lucifer, and then they want to say Lucifer, Satan. Lucifer is not Satan. Iblis is not Lucifer. Sabaoth, Samael, all of these fallen, the people who want to argue these things, the people who want to act all high and mighty, y'all don't even know their names. You don't even know the true names of the ones that you call, that you think are the devil. You don't even know their names. Yet and still you want to say that we're the ones sitting out here and worshiping them. The greatest trick the devil ever played was to convince the world that he wasn't even real. And I would say that if you think that like all of these are just one entity, that sounds like not knowing that they're real to me. That's what that sounds like to me. I'm not willing to have a conversation because it's simply not fair. Okay? This energy, these energies, some of them have repented actually. What did I say? Unbound, releasing soul patterns, contracts, past lives. Why am I forgetting? I'm forgetting one of them. It's not 𝗪𝗪𝗻𝗄𝗃. aka Yahweh. It's not 𝗪𝗪𝗻𝗄𝗃. I can't remember his name right now. But that's fine. I've named enough names, I think. When Sophia yelled at 𝗪𝗪𝗱𝗲, what did she call him? When he said, I am the only God, there is no God other than me. You must not, I am a jealous God, you must not worship any other gods. And Sophia yelled down at him. What did she call him? She yelled down from him from the cosmos, not from the cosmos, from the pleroma. And this isn't just with Gnostic wisdom, but, you know, they said that my ancestors, that we were the pagans, but, you know, I mean that we were the heathens, that we were the wrong ones, that we were the evil ones. But, I mean, look, how could you do this to a celestial being? How could you enslave and rape and pillage and exploit and plunder a celestial Terra this way? No, I think that it is you who are the devils. I think it is you who are the heathens. I think it is you who suffers from an insanity that is so thoroughgoing that you would destroy the only thing that you can even call home in this life on behalf of something that does not care about you. That's some Stockholm Syndrome stuff. Starseed, what lights you up? They feel like they deserve to move forward, so they want to get you out of alignment so that they can trap you here. Or maybe they can attach themselves to you and catch a ride. How does that make sense? You don't need to be worried about what is going to come. And like I said, when I read that prophecy I downloaded last night, what's to come? If you are watching readers and you're like, oh, that could never happen, that's unrealistic, do you not know your own, I'm speaking as if I'm speaking to Americans, but you know, this is actually global history, and everybody ought to know about the Great Depression of the United States of America. And the time around World War II, the Western world, what was happening in the Western world in terms of their economy, and then like during wartime. And you might think, oh, that's in black and white pictures, so that's barely even real. No, my childhood best friend's grandmother grew up during the Great Depression. I had a roommate, his grandparents grew up in the Great Depression in England. So when you hear prophets talking about and prophetesses talking about this stuff and how it's coming and how it's come in the past and how it's coming now, and we've been saying that we were already in a recession for the past however many years, and now you're all starting to admit that you're in a recession because the same media that told you that we weren't several years ago when we were, and we were already told that this was going to be one of the worst recessions, now we're in a depression. It's already that bad. We are in one of the worst housing crises in New York history right now. The prophecy is saying, get ready, hold, the tide is high, so you better hold on. The storm has come, batten down the hatches. That's what they're saying. The light codes are coming in and unhinging, unmooring all that was built on this shoddy foundation using sorcery and unsacred magics and exploitation magics and grape magics and, the kind of predilections that prey upon children type magics. Yeah, that kind of bastardization. That charlatan energy. The light codes are coming in. They're flooding in. And everything that was built upon that foundation is falling in order for this to come into fruition. And that's why certain ones of us came from the future down to this realm to seed the new gold, not even a golden age, a platinum age of light. So it's time to let go. Let go or be dragged. Surrender to the flow. Otherwise, you will drown. Step out of self-will and find yourself in a world of pure imagination. How does that song go? I am sorry, y'all. I told you I ate something with eggs in it, and now my throat's a little weird, but I'm going to sing it. Come with me, and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look, and you'll see into your imagination. We'll begin with a spin, traveling in the world of my creation. What we'll see will defy explanation. If you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it. Anything you want to do it. Want to change the world? There's nothing to it. I don't remember how this goes. But when he sang it at the end of Wonka, I actually did cry because I used to watch that movie as a kid. I don't want to think about that. I used to watch that movie as a kid, and obviously I really loved it and resonated with it because, one, I love candy, I love world building, and obviously I think I really resonated with Willy Wonka and also with Charlie. And I am feeling like because the meek will inherit the earth, I'm getting that energy of a golden ticket, right? Because if you think about it, it's like, this is in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. All of these kids had so much more than Charlie. Even the ones like from just a regular life, like not a regular life, but like just having, what they need, getting their needs met, versus people like Veruca, like that TV kid, Tommy TV or whatever his name was, Mike TV, I think his name was. And then you have someone who's a spoiled rich brat like Veruca Salt. But Charlie had nothing. And, he still had the most integrity and the most respect and the most gratitude of any of those children. He was a meek, polite fellow. And if it weren't for his grandpa Joe, he wouldn't have gotten in trouble at all. But the fact of the matter is, Willy Wonka yelled at Charlie and kind of like, it seemed like he was backing out on his end of the deal. Like he was failing to meet his end of integrity. And Grandpa Joe, being an entitled, lazy asshole, I actually hate Grandpa Joe. I didn't start that Facebook group, but a friend of mine, multiple people sent it to me in high school and asked me if I started it. And I was like, no, but these are all very valid points. And I am now a member of this group, a card-carrying member. Grandpa Joe, who's an entitled old cuck, yells at Willy Wonka. And, Charlie just accepts his fate. And it's good enough that he got to like have this adventure, and he returns the everlasting gobstopper. And that is the final test. And he gives that back to him. And he could have gone and he could have sold that to Mr. Slugworth, and Mr. Slugworth, he wouldn't have known that Mr. Slugworth actually worked for Willy Wonka. So that's another thing that people don't realize is, you know, all of this happens within this realm, and sometimes things are allowed to happen because God uses everything that happens in this free will realm to God's designs. And honestly, when people get mad about Saturn, oh, Saturn is evil, it's bad. No, maybe your actions are bad. Saturn is an equation. It's discipline. It's cause and effect. Maybe stop causing bad things to happen and the effect won't be bad. Maybe do things that are good. Put good out into the universe. Put love, care, compassion out into the universe, and that's what you will get back. But don't blame Saturn for your own fuckery, Grandpa Joe. Look at what happened to those kids. I mean, those kids died, actually, some of them. That's what happened to them. Charlie had integrity, and he returned. So I was saying, Slugworth, you know, they want to act like Saturn and all of the fallen angels and the dark angels are bad, but I'm not going to say whether or not they are. You know, if you're truly an alchemist, if you're truly somebody who operates from a higher consciousness, it's not black or white thinking, nor is it black and white thinking. It is technicolor thinking out here that we are doing, okay? Like, that's 4D consciousness, black and 3D consciousness. Really, 2D consciousness, I would say, is black or white. And then I would say that black and white is maybe like 3D consciousness. And a lot of people are still operating from binary opposition, which is black or white. But then you get up to 4D consciousness. And when you truly let unconditional life take a hold of you and transform your heart and open up that high heart chakra and let the ever-flowing waters of life flow through you, you will live a life that is technicolor. Do you see what I'm talking about? Versus what's happening down here in this lower dimension, which is grayscale. Think about it as when Dorothy went over the rainbow into Oz. That was incredible, by the way, in terms of filmmaking for that time. 1001 on the clock. Through the looking glass, yo. I couldn't make this stuff up. Yeah, so when Dorothy went, so looking at things from this way, it's like, you know, ultimately the demons are still in service to the Most High Divine Creator. Even when they are outside of their initial purpose, they are still serving the grand design. Mirror. Y'all saw me shuffle. Y'all saw me shuffle. God cannot make it any louder who or what is triggering you. Exactly, because they're trying to get you out of your bag to be able to steal it from you because they know it's coming in. Let go of all of that baggage, that karmic BS from your past. The past is over. It's dead and gone. It's bury that shit. Okay? Just like Florence Welch said, I'm always dragging that horse behind. Our love is pastured such a mournful sound. Tonight I'm gonna bury that horse in the ground. And I like to keep my something strong. Oh God, not that song. Shake it out. I like to keep my issues strong. And it's always darkest before the dawn. Bury that horse in the ground. She says, and I am done with my graceless heart. So tonight I'm going to cut it out and then restart. because I like to keep my issues drawn. It's always darkest before the dawn. 4 of Pentacles in reverse. Whatever you're holding on to, let go. Let go or be dragged down. Because I keep telling you, the light realms, light as a feather, stiff as a board. We are in the time of judgment against the feather of Ma'at. Okay? Against the feather of Ma'at. It is easier for a camel to go through the eye of the needle than a rich man to go through, get into the gates of heaven. Because looking for heaven found the devil in me. She says it in that song. And in the book of Revelations, the stars will fall from the sky. What's happening in the entertainment industry? Looking to create a place for yourself up amongst the stars. To be worshipped and as icons. Well, the true gods are back. And your time is up. Period. Okay. Matthew chapter 5, verse 5. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. I want to hear the whole verse, though. This is from the Sermon on the Mount. And do remember, I don't need to prove myself to anyone or anything, but I don't do religion. Like, I am an extra dimensional being. I don't do gender. I don't do social constructs because I'm a free being. I am emancipated from the false matrix. So take this for what it's worth. Take what resonates and leave the rest. If you cannot find value in these things, then, I think that you have a lot of work to do in terms of your spiritual practice, especially if you identify as a spiritualist. But I'm going to go on. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. What did I say? The high heart chakra. What does he say? No one enters the kingdom of heaven but through me. Christ Yeshua says this. Christ Yeshua is a vessel for Christ consciousness. Very truly, I tell you, no one can enter the kingdom of God unless they are born of water and the Spirit. Light and water make up this realm. Star Mother, the Matrix, because that's the cosmic womb. Powers and principalities, the cosmic powers. Like I said, the archons, false mother, false matrix. They put veils on your mind to make you think it was one thing and to trick you into creating your own prison because they can't create it themselves. And if you want to be like, well, how come this is happening now, but it's not happening then? That means that it can't be. Everybody gets an opportunity in their life for liberation. If you don't ever take a step out your door, how are you going to get on the journey? And like I've been saying lately, if you fall down, you're on the mountain climbing up and you know that you're in the wilderness and you're on your way to this home that's waiting for you and it's raining and it's slippery and you fall in some mud and you know that there's a home on the other side that's waiting for you with unconditionally loving father and mother. They're waiting for their child to return home. There's a hot meal waiting for you. There's a hot bath waiting for you. There are clean clothes waiting for you. And you fall down in the mud and you say, this is where I live now. I live down here in this mud pit. If you don't get your ass up out that mud, get it up out the mud. That's what a lotus is. Get up and continue walking home. It doesn't make any sense for you to sit down and to stay down there and then to say, oh God, I'm in the mud. Get up. Nobody told you not to. And even if they did, who cares? You are the one who decides whether you're going to get up or not. Oh, well, I got up and they pushed me back down, so push them down. I told you, you have authority. Speak in your authority. Speak in your power, but you're afraid to speak. You're afraid to be in your authority, because to be in your authority means to be in your authentic self. It means to be in integrity. It means to be in right alignment, to be in your pillar of light with the Most High Divine Creator, to be your most authentic, essential self, the you that you were made to be. And too many of you are afraid to do that. I said fortune favors the bold. But a lot of you want to be lukewarm and tepid. Nobody's interested in a half-hearted rake. That's from the 48 Laws of Power. I haven't read that book since I was 17 years old. And yet I always remember nobody. Actually, I think I may have read it again when I was 21. Nobody likes, wants, respects a half-hearted rake. If you are going to be something, be all of it. And then wondering why your manifestations are not coming through to you. Wondering why you cannot create for yourself the world that you want to live in. Well, I wonder why, because you're only halfway giving it to yourself. It's time to stop living a lie. And it's time to stop living in these bozos reality. Bozo the clown. It's a funhouse mirror that they made. They warped your mind. They warped the mirror so that you would know that you're a child of God. They warped your mind. They warped the mirror so that you would know that you were blessed and highly favored. That you were the authority, that you have the power. You have the say over your life. They didn't want you to know that. It's time to let go. Okay? The Bible is a great grimoire. It's one of the best grimoires you could find. What is a grimoire? A spell book. If you don't see the power, the magical power, it's because you're not initiated, your eyes not open. You see with your physical eyes, not with your spiritual eyes. You gotta get hip to the game. That's what the problem is. Open the eyes of my heart. That's a praise and worship song. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. The pure in heart. What did I say? Your heart is weighed against the feather of Ma'at at the moment of death. Well, it's Passover. It is the moment of death. A spirit of death swept across the lands. And those who had made the proper sacrifice were spared. And those households that were not, the first son of each household died. This isn't me. And I've never, ever made a prophecy that didn't come true. The only one that didn't, because I did what I needed to do to make sure that it didn't come true. And when I wanted to do this was because I wanted to get clear on why I kept getting back to 2020. It's not just going to be the economy, folks. Worse than the Great Depression. And remember what was going on during the Great Depression? The Dust Bowl. The Dust Bowl was also going on. Actually, World War II was one of the major factors for American imperialism. World War I and World War II were two of the biggest factors that brought America into the game of global imperial power and solidified the United States of America as a global power. So the Great Depression actually changed the course of human history irrevocably. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you need to go watch some documentaries about that time period, because it really happened. So what makes you think it couldn't happen again? Oh yeah, 2020, March 2020, that really happened. That summer of 2020, that really happened. All the things that you're seeing now that you just can't believe, those things have happened before. And the things that have happened before can happen again now. So what I'm telling you right now, this is happening. It's judgment, and a lot of people are failing. What did I say? Those kids were bad as hell. They were spoiled and entitled. They thought that they could do whatever they wanted. Why? Because they had a spirit of enmity. They had a spirit of entitlement. They had a spirit of wickedness upon them. Yes, Shaitan. And Augustus Gloop fell into a chocolate river because he was greedy. That's what they say is one of the 7 deadly sins. I mean, I guess like all those kids were greedy in a way. Mike was addicted to television. They were just I mean, Veruca was greedy. She was also wrathful. Those kids were bad. They were bad as hell. And some of them sure did die. For sure they did. And then others, it wasn't too clear. And then some little orange men came out and sang a catchy song about it to add insult to injury. Okay, so but who made it in the end? Charlie got the keys to the kingdom because he walked with God, because he was a person of integrity, because he was a righteous young man. He didn't ask for much. He was grateful for what God had given to him. And I want to cry because it's heartbreaking. Because let's get through the rest of the Beatitudes. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Who were the Nephilim? They were the sons of God and the daughters of men. The earth angels. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called the children of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness, for theirs is the domain of heaven. Family, I know that it has been a hard, arduous road. I know that it has been a hard and arduous road, and you are tired of hearing people tell you that it's almost over, because you can't keep dragging your body across the scorched earth. When I was really in the thick of my many diseases, the disease of addiction, the disease of depression, I would constantly write in my poems about demons bedeviling me. And I would constantly write in my poems about how I was dragging my body across the bottom of the ocean, of the sea. Because that's really what it felt like. And once you do all of that, and then you make it onto land and you have to walk through the wilderness, I understand why you might fall down in a puddle of mud and you might just be like, I can't get back up this time. But remember this, family. Frodo didn't make it to Mordor on his own. He had Samwise Gamgee, and actually the 4 hobbits that set out, Merry, Pippin, Frodo, and Sam. And then they met with Gandalf. Stay with me. And then they met with Gandalf at the Prancing Pony. Oh, and guess who else they met? Aragorn. He wasn't even supposed to be on that mission. And then a whole lot of other stuff happens when they're supposed to be going to meet Lord Elrond. Don't even get me started on 𝗬𝗵𝗿𝗲. That whole part of the story takes way longer than they show in the movies. You don't even hear. I mean, you may as well not even put 𝗬𝗵𝗿𝗲 in the movies, because you're gonna just make more questions than you can answer, right? And then they have the Fellowship of the Ring, and they have a host of people to take that ring. But who made it? Before the end of the first book/movie, Boromir falls to the power of the ring, the greed, the power, the lust for power. He was a righteous man who wanted to do right, but he simply could not resist. And this happens, and we must forgive. But blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Well, Frodo, they all got separated and they all went on their side missions, but they all stayed true to the mission of making sure that Frodo got that ring to Mount Doom in order to save Middle Earth. No matter what, they never stopped fighting. No matter what, they never stopped fighting. And Sam made sure that no matter how hard Frodo wanted to give up, Sam made sure that Frodo made it to Mount Doom, and Frodo didn't throw the ring in. He was going to be like Isildur, and it ended up being Gollum who destroyed the ring in Mount Doom. I know how hard this journey has been, family. Blessed are you when people insult you, persecute you, and falsely say all kinds of evil against you because of me. Rejoice and be glad, because great is your reward in heaven. For in the same way they persecuted the prophets before you. You may have had your own family members turn against you. You may have had your chosen family, your best friends, turn against you, abandon you, and leave you. But you were never alone. And in this kingdom of heaven, on the other side of this portal, and you've even started to meet them here and now in this journey to New Earth, you will see that it really all was worth it. And I'll tell you what, it's hard to fathom that it could be worth it. It's hard to fathom that the things that we have gone through, collective, could possibly be worth it. But I promise you that it is. Okay? I promise you that it is. To get back to this idea of, well, I don't even feel like we really need to speak on the charlatan. I feel like I said all that really need to be said about it, but they will even kill. So stay away from any energies that you don't trust, that seem shady. Honestly, if it's coming from the past, I don't want it. You know what I mean? Like, they're coming through with these apologies. Don't fall for it. Right now is not the time. I keep saying this, like, you know, unfortunately, we started this journey with certain family members, and I'm not talking about biological family. I'm talking about spirit family. We came here on a mission together. And this, I'm crying because I've seen firsthand what it's like to see a chosen one abandon their authority. People that you love betray their mission You know what I mean? And the betrayal runs deep, and it hurts, and it's painful. We started this journey out with our spirit family, and not everybody is going to make it to the other side. And it might seem like, oh yeah, you know what, they changed because karma started kicking their ass. The test started testing. They started seeing some of the other kids fall into the chocolate river, and some of the other kids fall down the chute for a bad egg, and some of the other kids get exploded to the size of a giant blueberry. They saw some of the other kids going through all of that stuff. How could you do that to children? How could they do it to themselves? They knew that they weren't supposed to do that. They were told not to do it. They did it anyway. They were given options. I mean, when Willy Wonka's like, no, stop, don't. You knew the rules, and you chose to break them anyway. Now you want to come back and apologize because your ass is being handed to you by the forces of karma, by the powers that truly be in divine justice in this period of judgment. Because what did I say when I first started this reading? Saturn is moving to what? 16 degrees of Pisces. Piscean degrees are the degrees of justice. You're not making it out of Saturn and Pisces unless you have been purified. Period. Because what? No one can enter the domain of the divine unless they are born of water and the spirit. The what? The Holy Spirit. That's a frequency I'm telling you about, this purification that you go through in Pisces season to get to that frequency of divinity. And everything else below, they're trying to hitch a ride. They want to come and apologize to you and make it seem like, oh, they're so sorry for what they did when they were casting death upon your name. Oh, you weren't sorry when you were doing spells in the darkness with a skull in your closet. You weren't sorry when you were sticking pins into dolls. You weren't sorry when you were writing niggas' names down and putting it in the ground. You weren't sorry then, were you? But you're sorry now, right? Because what you did is coming back to you. Now you're sorry, right? Let me tell you something. When the portal closes and we're on the other side, if I see you there, then maybe it's meant to be again. Maybe we're meant to reconnect. But if I don't see you on the other side in that frequency of the domain of the divine, if you don't make it through the Heaven's Gate portal, I guess you weren't really sorry. Or maybe confirmation cough. Whoever needed to hear that, they're not sorry. Because a true apology is changed behavior. Don't be a fool and let them fool you. Okay? Stay away from these people. They're trying to steal your identity. Okay? And I wrote, this is literally the kind of person who some people would just write off as weird and annoying but innocuous, but turns out to be a serial stalker and may even unalive someone. And in the notes I wrote, could be an old friend trying to get back into your good graces, making a false apology. They're not sorry. They just want another chance to suck you dry of your energy. These are the vampires. The vampires and the fae come from the same lineage. Angels and demons. I literally been studying fairies my whole life. My whole life. And I also actually studied them in a college research level program that I did in high school. Well, I started it in middle school, but the research project I did in high school. Yeah. And I've also studied them at the university level. Anyway, it could be a new person who's been studying you from the shadows. Look, we get the Eight of Swords. They want to have you confused. This is what I didn't get to yet. And the Eight of Pentacles. They want to have you confused so that you are not like focusing your energy and your power on building. They want to keep you locked out of your divine domain. They want to keep you locked out of your sovereignty. You don't know which way to turn. You don't know what to do. You're hella confused, right? Because you are supposed to be happily just like, you have security in the background. You know that you have you have home to return to, and you just got to be out here doing your work. And they don't want you to be able to do that. It could be a new person who's been studying you from the shadows, plotting to ensnare you in some sort of a swindling scheme. Be very careful who you are engaging with. If it does not feel right, it is not. And do remember that this could actually be, this could be in the ethers. For those of you who connect with like your quote unquote twin flame, your divine counterpart, your spiritual partner in the unseen, be very careful, because there are charlatans, there are copies, there are clones. They're wearing a mask. They're pretending to be who they're not. You might be trying to connect with the divine, your deities, your angels, your ancestors, what have you, and it's not feeling right, but you're just like, something feels off, but you know what, whatever, I might just be confused. No, you're not confused. The most important thing that you can do right now is trust your intuition. If your first instinct is to go against your intuition and to doubt yourself, then let me tell you something. Your first instinct is wrong, and you need to trust your second instinct. And in fact, that wasn't your first instinct, because your first instinct was your intuition. Your second instinct was to doubt that intuition. So your third instinct needs to be to choose the first instinct, period. Some other examples, you might meet somebody at the bar. They keep trying to get you to invite them over to your house, or they might offer you substances or something. Yo, I saw this TikTok about this bar in like West Hollywood that like everyone who goes there gets I don't know, a like internet censor friendly word to say it, but you know what is on top of a house? A roof. Yeah, they get that happens to them. And some of these people end up getting, yeah, this is what is happening at this bar. The bar owner just stepped down from being being in charge of the bar, because he knows that he's about to get, you know, that guy who had that island, he's about to get exposed as that. All Pluto in Aquarius, baby. All Pluto in Aquarius. It's going down. So let go of whatever you thought it was, because you thought it was whatever you dreamed of, whatever you thought of was built upon what you could have fathomed from your information, and that information was fed by the Piscean age. Well, that is over, babes. That's over. It's time to let go and be carried. Be carried by this energy. Okay, don't accept, and like if you get a drink at a bar, like make sure that it's still in the bottle or the can. If you can get a can, and don't let them open it for you. You open it yourself and wipe the wipe the top off. Yo, I'm so glad that I'm not still partying, because I talk about this with my sober friends who used to party, who used to be club kids and raves and stuff too. Like, we were never testing our stuff. We were never testing our gear. I have been at music festivals and people would give me free stuff, and I never tested that. I just did it. I'd meet somebody in the bathroom of 𝗵𝗵𝗱𝗲, and now I'm doing stuff with them. And I'm not testing it. I don't even know them. Okay? This is what I'm talking about. And it's just like, yo, I'm glad, because I OD'd now in this age of fentanyl. You feel me? Like, I'm so glad I'm not living like that. And to be living in these times as well, I would honestly recommend you to not even be going out to clubs right now. I don't even know how people are doing that right now. Because I know a thing or two about nightlife. And if you're an earth angel, you need to get out of there while you still can. Tell you that. They're trying to get you, 1, alone, and 2, into a compromising situation in order to take advantage. This could even be a landlord trying to get you locked into a messed up contract with the end of Mercury retrograde, where they sell you a house that is full of mold and asbestos. Then you try to look them up and you find out that they never existed. So this is just the many ways that this charlatan energy can show up. Okay, and the reason I said then you look them up and they never existed, yo, that shit happens. You meet somebody, it's like they used to tell stories about meeting a fairy on the road, a fae on the road, especially a puka. And it's like you deal with this energy, you deal with this being, a person on the road who seems like maybe like an old lady who's like sick or something like that, or a vagabond or something like that. It's like Magic Man from Adventure Time. And you're like, oh, like, depending on how you treat them, you either get blessings brought upon your home or you bring misfortune upon your home, because it turns out that they are the king or the queen of the fae. And then like sometimes you'd hear stories. Remember, as I said, I've been studying fae my entire life because hello, I am one. Like, you meet a beggar on the side of the road and they're like asking for help or whatever, and then the lord of this manor decides not to help them, and then they get to their home and it turns out that that was the king of the fairies, and now all of your family has been turned into animals. And now you're so sad because your wife is a dog and your son is a beetle. And now you have to go on an adventure to get your family turned back into humans. But a lot of the time, I mean, sometimes you need to know about fairy tales. Most of that shit does not end up in a happy story, okay? A lot of the fairy tales do not end up in a happy story. So don't cross. That's why you got to be acting right out here, for real, because you don't know who you're interacting with. All right. So this is why I said, then you look them up and it turned out that they never existed, because it was a spirit. Because they never did exist. This charlatan energy is out and about, and it's trying to get you hemmed up. It's trying to get you locked into new contracts. They're trying to lock you in to be able to keep you out of where you're supposed to go, to continue using you as an energetic battery. I kid you not. Do not go out during this portal. Do not go to clubs and nightclubs and like bars and stuff during this portal. I don't care what your excuse is. You need to be stronger than that. Have some respect. I said fortune favors the bold. Because I'm not kidding when I say the amount of people, when I saw this girl's TikTok about this bar that is, I really don't know, stoplight is what I'm going to say. Okay? You know what I mean? What they call a traffic light, they also call a stoplight. So I'm going to say stoplighting. These people are stoplighting people using this bar. People, why is it that I scrolled through the comments and everybody was saying, I know that bar, it's the Abbey, the Abbey, the Abbey. Everyone was saying that. And dozens, I didn't read through all of the comments, but I did see dozens of people saying, I got somebody, I'll say, substances that they did not willingly take. We're going to refer to that as poisoning. I got poisoned at that bar, and it was like they would drink a glass of water. So what one of the people was saying is they lined the glasses with substances. Because how is it that you had water and somehow you end up like blackout and having to go to the hospital? You didn't even drink at the bar. The performers at the bar will tell you like, oh, like you need to be careful here. And then the story in the TikTok, I don't remember what the creator's name is, but the story in the TikTok, the girl was stoplighted by the owner of the bar. And a bunch of other young people of all genders were being stoplighted by this bar. I've been in nightlife. I grew up in nightlife. I'm not talking about, oh, when I was 18. No, I've been in the club since I was like 15 years old. Take it or leave it. I can't tell you what to do. You're a grown adult. You have your own autonomy and agency. This is a free will realm. And if you don't want to listen, you don't have to. But what I will say is this much. If you can't stay out of the club for 9 days, something is wrong with you. Okay? Don't say I didn't warn you. Other examples that I wrote down, this might be a family member. It might be a narcissistic mother lying that somebody is dying or that she's hurt or something just to sink her claws back into you. Like, if you're no contact and she's like, oh, this tragedy is happening in the family. And then it turns out that nothing is actually happening, but she just did that to get her to sink her claws back into you. You know, I'm hearing Munchausen's by proxy. Other things that I wrote, feminine energy, whether cis or trans, male or female, or otherwise, any sex, any gender, they are embodying toxic femininity. If it is a cis man, he is working on behalf of a woman, a cis woman. This is like the dad doing the bidding of the mom or the uncle doing the bidding of the grandmother. Because what did I say? You think it's the man. Oh, the man's trying to keep me down. No. The false matrix matter mother. You need a matrix is a womb. It's the 𝗕𝗎 of Babylon. I'm spitting tonight, y'all. So we may as well go back and read, but I'm gonna find what the verse from Revelations is, but I'm not gonna read it because it's really more important to see my notes. Okay, so I really also recommend some of the stories that I use are written in the Zohar. So I might recommend to you to read the Zohar if you want to know more about apocryphal, non-canonical texts that give a rundown on the different rankings of the cosmos, of the celestials. Yeah, I'd recommend you to go look at that. But family, I'm trying to find my notes. Bear with me. Okay. So this is in chapter 17. I will read it. And there came one of the 7 angels, which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither. I will show unto thee the judgment of the great W that sitteth upon many waters. This is a spirit, a barren spirit, that sitteth upon many waters. A woman scorned, perhaps. She really don't want y'all to know. With whom the kings of the earth, okay, have committed fornication. What is fornication? Sexual intercourse between 2 people not married to one another. For instance, the Watchers and the fallen angels took human wives, though they weren't allowed to do that. Venus is a coming together. Neptune is an alchemical union. I want to note that from my notes. Also note that waters equals the subconscious and unconscious minds, as well as blood. Water transmits information. Who fled to the waters? Okay? With whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth. So the kings of the earth are the mandate of heaven lineages. I want to point that out first. You have 2. Where's the note for 2? Well, I'm not seeing it, so we're going to just keep on going, family. The inhabitants of the earth, and I'm thinking that that is perhaps the daughters of man, have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. I highlighted that because waters, wine, purple and scarlet color, I'm thinking that that's blood. And when you're in communion, okay, so Yeshua turned water into wine, and then we're supposed to drink that wine, his blood, at communion. And isn't that vampiric? Choices being made. Choices are being asked to be made, family. Isn't that vampiric? Have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication, intoxication through the blood, through mixing of DNA with, well, the Jezebel priestesses. But there's a lot more to it than that. By imprisoning the divine feminine and intoxicating the divine masculine, this is how they've been able to take control. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness. Carried me away in the spirit means to astral project. And I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet. What is scarlet the color of? Wine. What is scarlet the color of? Blood. What is blood in esoterics? Water. I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. 7 relates to Venus, and 10 relates to Saturn. I just want to make note of that. And Saturn is actually feminine, specifically when in relation to Capricorn, which they say is, anyway, so these are divine feminine energies. Or are they? 7 heads and 10 horns. And the woman has arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, and having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. This is not sacred union. This is not sacred creation. They never said that. It is fornication. It cannot create anything. She's decked out in all of this stuff when the true regency have nothing but their white cloth. You know what I mean? Why? Because she has to give this air of wealth. Arrayed in material finery, so that she seems like she is abundant, but her cup is filled with putrefied waters. Still waters run deep. Stagnant waters breed disease. Having a golden cup in her hand. Full of abominations of filthiness of her fornication. I really wonder where those notes went, because why do I have those numbers written down otherwise? It's so odd. Oh, because I think that page got cut off. Anyway, and upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great. Now, it's important to understand that the writers of these books used that as a code name for the Roman Empire. It is imperative to understand that. The mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Christ. It says Jesus. I'm not even going to say Yeshua. I'm saying Christ. Christendom. The crystallines. Christ consciousness. But also, yes, Yeshua. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. Is she drunk from blood? Blood is thicker, denser than water, which means if 144 crystallines do alchemy using the living waters, because we, Fae, are ethereal beings, she is using blood, which has iron, which Fae are allergic to materialize. I keep thinking of the K family, who can only manifest in the material using low vibrational, high density energy. W of Babylon blueprints made in the W of Babylon matrix, which is not really a womb. Anyway, vampires. Queen of the Damned equals Akasha, halls of Amenti, Saturn, Kali, Karma, stuck in the matrix due to karmic cycles. They are exploiting your free will in order to continue keeping you here as batteries, because they can't create. You can. They need you to create. They need you as a battery. They sure don't want you to ascend. They sure don't want you to have spiritual abolition. They sure don't want you to be sovereign. And here is the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth. Mountains are feminine wisdom. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, went into a mountain to receive the Quran. Abraham went up onto a mountain to receive the 10 Commandments. I just want to say that the Appalachian Mountains are actually older than the rings of Saturn. I don't know if y'all knew that. Dragon bodies. Like Tiamat was used to create the earth. She was using dragon magic to control the earthlings. So they had imprisoned they had imprisoned her, and they were exploiting her body, and she had to get free. Now she's been unbound by the work that we've done. And I also want to say, because I love Lord of the Rings, Aragorn went to the mountain to break the curse and win the battle. Frodo went to Mount Doom to destroy the ring. And that is also where the Ring of Power was forged, in the fires of Mount Doom. And there are 7 kings. 5 are fallen, and 1 is, and the other is not yet come. And when he comes, he must continue a short space. I don't have notes on that. 8, some of the leaders, most, are under her spell and serve her because they're addicted to her poison. They have fallen like the men in the Tolkien legendarium, men with a capital M. Aragorn equals Christ and Arwen equals Sophia. Restoration to their sovereignty. If you don't know anything about Gnosticism, if you are only coming from like only knowing things about Christianity, and if you don't yet know about like Christ as a consciousness and crystalline, like the crystallines and these kinds of things, you are gonna, and look at this. Look at this, star seeds. I'm gonna read from Rebecca Campbell's book, actually. But I'm just saying, go learn those things. Don't try to argue. And I'm really not rinsing you right now. I'm really not coming for you right now. I'm just telling you, it's not a fair fight. We must be on at least somewhat equal footing. If you do not even know what I'm talking about, there is absolutely no way that you can have a fair, it's not a fight, I don't like that term, debate. There's no intellectual sparring that can happen when one person is at such a greater advantage. It's as if the rules were to argue in Japanese, and I speak Japanese and you don't speak Japanese. You only speak French. No, yeah, I mean, that's very different from Japanese, right? It'd be one thing at least if you spoke Chinese and maybe I don't think that they're actually that alike. I don't even think that there are like a lot of loan words. So let me put it this way, actually. If we're supposed to be arguing in, I think they say Italian and Spanish are similar to one another. Okay, I don't know. I speak French a little bit. It's as if we're supposed to be arguing in French, but you only speak Swahili. You don't even speak a Romance language. You don't even understand a Romance language. How is that how's that going to be a fair debate? It's as if, and still it's not a fair debate if it's like, I'm speaking French and we're supposed to argue in French, but you don't know French. You only know English because English is influenced by French. So you might know some of the words, but you don't know what I'm talking about. So before you try to argue, I beg, go and educate yourself. Read about these things. Read the Book of Enoch. Read the Apocryphon. Read the Nag Hammadi library. Read the Dead Sea Scrolls. First and foremost. But before you even do that, actually read your Bible, because you cannot come and have these discussions with me if you haven't even actually read scripture. And a lot of you haven't. A lot of you who like to be out here arguing actually have never read scripture, because some of the things that you say are bad. King Solomon did those things. King David did those things. So I'm not willing to have these kinds of conversations. I want to have reasonable conversations for the sake of growth. Period. If you can't do that, then I'm sorry, but we're not going to be able to have a conversation. Leave all the comments that you want, but I really don't care. Okay. We're going to come back to this reading, but first we're going to read Starseed. What lights you up? No, I wanted to read Mintakan 116. So this is what it looks like. I'm going to find that card in the deck because I want to show it to you. It is relevant. I don't know where the deck went. Oh, here it is. This deck I got at She's Lost Control in not Camden, well, in London, but what was it? I always forget what this place is called. Hackney. I don't know if it's still there. I do think it's Woman of Color owned, but it's a really cute little shop. And this deck changed my life. It awakened me to a new level of consciousness and changed my practice irrevocably. I am so grateful for this deck. It is one of the best things that has ever happened to me in my entire life. I think I only paid 20 pounds for it, and it was, I mean, it's $21.99. Best $22 I've ever spent, I would say. I don't know what else I could have spent $22 on, but this was worth it. 𝗵𝗏𝗀, looking for home, belonging, the original light workers. It is the planet of crystalline waters. When you think that you are a mermaid, you probably came from 𝗵𝗏𝗀, a soul group who originated on a planet in the constellation Orion. They were the first star beings to travel to Earth and believed to be the original light workers. The 𝗵𝗏𝗀's home planet is thought to have been a water world with water so pure that you could see through it for miles. For this reason, 𝗵𝗏𝗀s feel most at peace and at home when in or around crystal clear waters. What did I say? Crystal clear waters. They're here to teach us to see the potential in everything and light in all beings. Many 𝗵𝗏𝗀s have an odd longing for quote-unquote home and struggle with the feeling like they don't belong. Just look at this, though. Look at it. Perhaps you feel this longing to find, many 𝗵𝗏𝗀s have an odd longing for home. It is thought that this is due to their home planet no longer being in existence. If you pulled this card, it could mean that you are a 𝗵𝗏𝗀 or are longing for a sense of belonging, and root chakra healing is necessary for you to feel secure and safe. That was coming up for me earlier today because I did feel like there was a lot of work being done to the root chakra. Perhaps this is what we need to let go of. That's what I'm saying. The trauma, the drama, the ruminations of the past, let go, because that is what is holding you down. That is what is keeping you tethered. You feel me? Perhaps you feel this longing to find home without knowing where that is. Perhaps you've been moving around a lot and yearn for a place on earth to call your own. If so, you're being called to connect with Mother Earth and create it for yourself now. Why? Because, family, we're being called to, we know where our home is. It just didn't exist yet. We had to get into right alignment with it and align with our soul family to create it. And it is this heaven on earth. This is why you know that you're a time traveler. To choose where you feel most at home and create it rather than waiting for the feeling of belonging. Work your light transmission. Hold the card on your heart and say, if you want to receive this, say yes. I allow myself to truly be here and at home on this planet. I release any grief around not belonging or feeling held and call in the perfect home. There's throat chakra stuff that's coming up for me. A lot of you who resonate with 𝗵𝗏𝗀, a lot of you who resonate as sirens. You have throat chakra stuff that needs healing, things that you never said. I'm thinking that song by Avril Lavigne. My voice is weird right now. Like I said, I have a lot of phlegm in my throat because I ate I ate more like 9 cookies and they have egg in them. So I have a bunch of mucus in my body right now and it's gross. I'm sorry if that's TMI, but I knew that I shouldn't have done it and I did it anyway, not to mention that I ate 9 of them. But I'm hearing that Avril Lavigne song from her first album. I can say what I want to say I want to blow you away, be with you every night. Am I holding you too tight? Am I squeezing you too tight? I can say what I want to see you go down on one knee. Marry me today, guess I'm wishing my life away. With these things I'll never say. This is what I was talking about in that TikTok and earlier in this video when I said You're not saying the things that you're not being your authentic self. You're not living your truth. You're hiding. You're not speaking your voice. And this is why you're wondering why you're not getting the life that you want to live, because you're not living it. Please make that make sense. How are you going to live your best life when you're not living your best life? Oh, well, this person's standing in the way, so get them out the way. I understand it's easier said than done, but listen, I did it. And let me tell you, every time I let go of somebody who was a karmic, my money went up. People that I thought I couldn't live without, my money went up. And then even in a, like, tremendously, like, I got a $10,000 contract. That kind of money went up, and was able to buy my business and to get out of debt and to have savings. That kind of money went up. That's what I'm talking about. These things that I wanted for so long, but all I had to do was let go of a karmic relationship, unbound. And then the more practical thing of like, oh, I'm not enjoying my life, get rid of that thing that's ruining your life. I think I may have made a video about this that I haven't posted to TikTok yet, but basically I was saying, like, I had this friendship with somebody for a very long time and I loved them very much, but she would just, like, be super, super negative and try to tear me down all the time. And, like, I was afraid of her, I realized. You know, it was a very dysfunctional relationship. I'm not saying this to shame anybody with mental health issues or personality disorders, but I'm fairly certain that she has borderline personality disorder. I know she has severe CPTSD, amongst a lot of other issues. And basically, she just did some really crazy stuff. Like, excuse me for being, I'm not being pejorative, but I don't know. It was insane what she did. She basically held me and her boyfriend hostage. Well, not her boyfriend, but she abused him the whole weekend. And it was a week. And she was basically holding me hostage and emotionally abusing me as well, and emotionally terrorizing both of us for a week. And she was already abusive towards her boyfriend anyway. And she knew that I did not fuck with that shit. But hey, here I am, a person who says that I have integrity, but I'm still aligning myself with somebody who's doing something that I think is fundamentally wrong. And I already told her that it's wrong. She's still doing it, and I'm still fucking with her. When am I, like, how am I in my integrity? But beyond that, confirmation burp. So for somebody, like, it really is about that. Like, shit is going to pop off for you when you let go of these karmic relationships. And some of you, it's because you're holding on to it emotionally more so than you are in the actual physical realms. You know what I mean? Well, she would, like, I would be so afraid to miss her calls. Or, like, not, if I missed her calls, like, oh my God, like, I would be afraid. Like, she's going to be so mad at me because I missed her call. Or, like, I would be afraid of her feelings. Like, oh, she's going to feel like I am ignoring her, or, like, don't have time for her, or this, that, or the third. It's like, yo, like, we're not even in, like, yo, I'm not with the shits. People act like that's just romantic relationships. But honestly, the ones that are the most toxic, I find, are the platonic ones, because you're so used to hearing that it's a romantic relationship, people don't be looking out for that shit. But it is often, in my case, I mean, I also said this in the reading that I did for TikTok, but yeah, I mean, I never cared about my romantic partners enough for me to feel this way about those situations. And I would just break up with them whenever they started getting on my nerves. But I was toxic too, and I enjoyed the drama and the chaos. So when they came back begging to get back together, I probably would do it 2 times. That would happen, and then the final time would be the final time, and there would be no getting back together. I didn't say that I wasn't toxic. I was a part of these relationships too. The point is, like, after I stopped being friends with that person, and then another friend who started out a great friend to me, but then became a really bad friend to me. Like, not like, I wouldn't even use the term friend. You know what I mean? Completely took me for granted. And I knew that they were going around spreading lies about me and talking trash about me and basically looking down upon me because of my economic status, which, I mean, they knew me since I was a child. So it's like, I don't know what you expect me to do. Like, I can only do the best that I can do with the really fucked up circumstances that I inherited. But that just goes to say, like, not only are you not someone that I want to be friends with, you're not somebody that I want anything to do with. And in fact, you are an embodiment of everything that I am against on a human level. And when I stopped being friends with these individuals respectively, my life got better and brighter because I could relax. Like, I didn't have to carry around that backpack of stress and tension, literally like making my shoulders be up near my ears, making my sphincter fucking tense. And then people are wondering why people are getting colon cancer and stuff like this. It's stress, bro. You're wondering why people are dying of hypertension and high cholesterol. It's stress, bro. Like, it's like you're breaking your own heart. Stop doing this shit because it will kill you real fast. I kid you not. It's not a joke. This is shit that's in books by doctors. Okay? So, like, outside of just the fact that your money will go up, your money's going to go up too because your heart is finally cleared so you can actually attract what is for you. Your sphincter is unclenched. Your root chakra is unclenched. So the rest of your energy body, the rest of your chakra system can relax and you can actually attract things and express energy in a way that allows you to experience prosperity. But when you are stuck up in karmic relationships, just the same way that my throat feels tight and bound up because I ate those cookies that had egg in it and I know that I'm not supposed to eat egg, and now I'm going to feel like shit until I get some oil of oregano. I'm out of water. Until I get some oil of oregano and or apple cider vinegar in my body. Like, if I had just not eaten the cookies, I wouldn't be feeling like this because I felt great all day until I ate those cookies. And I knew I was going to feel like this when I ate the cookies. You know what I mean? And that's how it is when you're manifesting. Like, if you're around things that make you feel terrible, you know it makes you feel terrible, but you're just like, well, I really like the taste and, like, you know, I'm bored, and you're addicted to the food coloring maybe and the sugar. Or it has some nostalgic purpose because those cookies that I ate, like, remind me of my childhood. It has some nostalgic purpose to you. So you're doing something that you know you shouldn't be doing for whatever reason. I really don't know what the reason why you're doing it. Because for me, these are relationships that were like, I considered these people, or they were literally my blood family. I considered these people family otherwise. And, you know, they fucking betrayed me. And that's why I cried earlier in the video. But, you know, this is what we're letting go of. And today I felt a blessing because I realized, no, it was yesterday. I felt so blessed and grateful to the Most High and grateful to my spirit team and grateful to myself because for the first time in a literal year, I'm starting to not feel rage at this person and hate for them. And it's a terrible thing to feel that way towards someone that you loved with all of your heart from the bottom of your soul and thought, this person, this is my person. I can't live in a world that this person doesn't live in. You know what I mean? So it's really time to let go, and it's really time to forgive. And the reason why, I mean, it took a long time, but I'll tell you something. I had somebody like that in my life a different time. That time was romantic. And it took me, it took me almost 2 years to start to feel like any kind of remorse for yelling at them and really laying into them when we ended our relationship. And it took me even longer than that to to heal from that. And when I start to not feel angry anymore, when I start to recognize the harm that I caused in that other relationship and not think, haha, that's what they get, and start to see this is not the kind of person that I want to be, that's when the healing is happening. That's when I'm getting free. That's when I'm letting go and I'm getting lighter. And that's what we're talking about when we're talking about light work or the realms of light. It's not about the the proton or the photon and the wave phenomenon that is light in the material realm, because light technically is material. It is a cosmic, they call it the cosmic messenger because it carries information on itself. No, we're talking about light in density, the feather of Ma'at being weighed against our heart at the time of death so that we can be ushered through the process of rebirth by, I believe it's Osiris and Anubis. Okay. And I just think it's funny how I woke up today or Monday and there's now a phoenix emoji. I just think it's funny how, okay, so I just blanked out. Every time I go and check what time it is, or how long this is going, I lose my train of thought. Oh yeah, let go of those karmic relationships. It is a karmic relationship. I need to look at those cookies and be okay, that's karmic. That's a karmic thing to do. To eat something that I know is going to make me sick. No, I didn't break out in hives, but I'm full of mucus. And then my tummy hurts. And sometimes I feel dizzy. If I ate something with dairy in it, it'd be 10 times worse. God, I don't even want to think about that. But yeah, it's some karmic shit to eat something that you're allergic to. But sometimes you just be doing stuff, you feel me? But we can't do that right now. All right, because this is a crucial time period. If anything is coming up right now, it's coming up for you to acknowledge it and look deep at yourself. Look it in the eye and be like, yo, what's good? What do you need from me? Ask your shadow that. But it's trying to move on into the next realm with you and it can't go. So it is what it is. I'll tell you what, when you've truly forgiven yourself for all the shit that you've done, and you're really showing up for yourself with kindness and compassion and an open and unconditionally loving heart, there's really not that much that's needed from you. But this is the thing. Don't get it twisted, because the charlatan is in the ethers pretending. And there is definitely past life karma that is trying to make its way with you. This brokenheartedness about not being at home, that is something that is very, really up here. I call upon Archangel Gabriel is in the house. I call upon Archangel Michael. Jophiel, Haniel, Metatron. Don't let it get it twisted, okay? The darkness is not the same as the shadow, and there's then there's the charlatan that will try to act like that's what it is so that it can sneak its way in. No, we are completely in the pillar of light. There is no shadow here. All right, whatever it is, it's time to let go of it. Let go of the old timelines. Let go of your connection to the past. Releasing soul patterns, contracts, past lives. Let it go. All right. And yeah, so the man, quote unquote, is actually doing the bidding of the false matrix. So we were reading from Revelations. We're going to wrap it up, family, because it's getting quite late and it's going long. But these kings that are fallen and so on and so forth, they are the bloodlines of the dragons that I was talking about. And if you look at this picture from Martin Luther's 1534 translation of the Bible, I want to see if you can even see what I'm showing you guys. She's on a dragon, right? The WOB, the W of Babylon, is on a dragon. And that dragon, she is riding on the spirit of Leviathan, the spirit of contemptuous chaos, discord. But it's unsacred. It's not good. And remember, you have authority over them. You command them. Remember your rank, respect your rank. Everything that I've been saying has been leading up to this moment. I'm not, literally, I can see the through line from very far back. And the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th and is of the 7 and goes into perdition. Perdition is a state of final spiritual ruin, loss of the soul, damnation, or the future state of the wicked, or hell, or utter destruction or ruin. The end of the Kali Yuga. That's what's happening. He was one of them, but by mixing with the Red Queen, he becomes a completely different spiritual entity. Like Smeagol becomes Gollum, and the 9 riders become the Ring Wraiths, aka the Nazgul. And the 10 horns which thou saw are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. Promises that she has made. But you're not going to experience perdition if you stay in this righteous frequency, because they cannot come in. They cannot come in. They don't have the key. You are the key. And if you're not in that energy, you can't come in. So they're just playing dumbass games. It's stupid. But this energy, it is a feminine energy. All right. I think that I'm going to leave that there. I don't think that I need to explain more. I think that it's important for you all to do your own research. Oh, I found my other notes where I finished it. And he said unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the horse sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. This is consciousness, collective consciousness, different and I tell y'all this, the microcosmic to the macrocosmic consciousness collectives. We are indoctrinated into ways of thinking, ways of being, cultures. And what is that? What's the liquid part of a cell? Like the gel of a cell? Cell. It's not the membrane, cell parts. Well, it's just parts. Yeah. It's not the membrane. It's the stuff that everything in the cell is like contained in. The cytoplasm. Come on, bro. This is like tiny. I can't see this shit. It's the cytoplasm. Everything is contained in the cytoplasm. But it might even more so be like the, anyway, I don't want to get to that. The nucleus is actually the essence. And I get too deep into that. But this is why it is important to be self-sovereign. Because you don't know who these people are praying to or what they're possessed by. So if you're self-possessed, you don't have to worry about that. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigns over the kings of the earth. The whore of Babylon, which was actually Rome, and I've explained many times how we're actually living in the Roman Empire, right? Shadow is the artificial darkness. So this is from the shadow. And it's time to just like let go. And the way that you let go is to let go of your attachment to this material life. You know what I mean? Just to let go of that. So that's enough prophesying out of me tonight. I think I'm seeing a man with a gold ring, so it might be someone with a lot of power, but who operates from the shadows, manipulating and controlling people to do his will, so he never gets his hands dirty, which means he easily escapes culpability and accountability because there's never a paper trail leading back to him. Very smart, very cunning, very conniving. And look what comes out. Six of Swords. We're leaving all that behind. It's time to let it go, family. It's time to let it go and to move forward. So the final thing that I want to tap into and tune into, what I was going to do was I was going to look at what 22 degrees of what 22 degrees of, well, I was going to look at 16 degrees of Saturn, of Pisces, and 22 degrees of Taurus. The Sabian symbols. The Sabian symbol of 22 degrees of Taurus, that's the 52nd phase of this Sabian symbols, is white dove flying over troubled waters. The spiritual inspiration that comes to the individual in the overcoming of crisis. We're coming out of hermit mode, family. Coming into the world, coming into our abundance, because we've been in the transmutation chamber. We've been in the alchemical chamber. We've been leveling up. And this is why I said, it's real funny how I woke up on Monday morning and there was now a phoenix emoji where there had never been one before. Butterfly flying high in the sky. I don't actually know that song. I don't know that song. I remember it from when I was a kid, but that's like the extent of it. But 16 degrees of Pisces. This is the 346th phase, first level actional. In the quiet of his study, a creative individual a creative individual experiences a flow of inspiration, reliance upon one's inner source of inspiration or guidance, subjective strength, and that is going to be what puts you ahead, that sets you apart from the shaitan, the shaitanic forces, the corrupt, those who do not have creative power. You know what? King of Cups. King of Cups is resting in his power. No more heartbreak, family. She says, what's wrong with my tongue? These words keep slipping away. Stutter. I stumble like I've got nothing to say. 'Cause I'm feeling nervous, trying to be so perfect. 'Cause I know you're worth it, yeah. I can say what I want to say I want to blow you away. Be with you every night, am I holding you too tight? I can say what I want to see you go down on one knee. Marry me today. Guess I'm wishing my life away. These things I'll never say. Don't live a life of regret. It's time to go through the mirror, through the looking glass, where before we are going through the looking glass, family. I swear to God, I'm seeing it as we go. Where there wasn't potential before because we were in the false matrix and it was not fertile and abundant for us, we are coming into the new earth, which is verdant, which is lush, which is fresh, and we are the cultivators of that land. Okay, it is time to put down your weapons of war and pick up your plowshares and your pruning hooks. Period. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called the children of God. It is time to come into your throne, your divinely anointed position of prosperity, family, so that we may establish the new kingdoms, the new domains. Because look at these over here. In fact, don't look at them. Leave them alone. We don't care about them. Let them fall into the abyss. Let them flounder in, not even in Sheol. What is it? What is the word? Because I feel like this energy is giving Sheol, like I said about the 3D, but then we get to the 4D, and that's where all of the color comes in. Because Sheol was just a gray place, right? Perdition. And last week, the degrees that we got to with, I want to say Aquarius. Yeah, it may be Pluto and Aquarius, the degrees that it got to. I think they were giving about the storm destroying the structures of old. Okay, and then we get that storm, what I talked about, that storm, and then it says white dove flying over troubled waters. What is the bird that brought the olive branch back to Noah when the covenant, the rainbow covenant, was made? It was a dove. And so on the 20, when we get to 22 degrees Taurus, Jupiter, Uranus conjunction on today, the 24th and the 25th, family. I knew it. Reward to the faithful. That is the keynote term of Taurus at 22 degrees. So yes, they have been trying to get you out of your alignment, and there has been a spirit of contempt, contemptuousness, discord, disarray, distortion. The Leviathan spirit has been upon the land. Pray it away. Pray it away using your tongues. Speak it aloud. Because you have authority. Okay, family? That's the prophecy. Whatever is coming, I already told you what's coming, and we'll just call it perdition moving forward. What is coming, this destruction, it's going to be bad. It's going to be scattering of the children of Rome. The children of Rome will be scattered among the lands as beggars. Oh, what is that? 23:32 on the clock, family. Okay. That's a what? That's a mirror. Let me go into the Psalms. I believe it's Psalm 109. Hold not thy peace, O God of my praise, for the mouth of the wicked and the mouth of the deceitful are opened against me. They have spoken against me with a lying tongue. They compassed me about also with words of hatred and fought against me without a cause. For my love, they are my adversaries, but I give myself unto prayer. Call judgment, family, and they have rewarded me evil for good and hatred for my love. Set thou a wicked man over them, and let Shaitan stand at their right hand. When they shall be judged, let them be condemned, and let their prayer become sin. Let their days be few, and let another take their office. Let their children be fatherless, and their wife a widow. Let their children be continually vagabonds and beg. Let them seek their bread also out of their desolate places. Let the extortioner catch all that they have, and let the stranger spoil their labor. Let there be none to extend mercy unto them, neither let there be any to favor their fatherless children. Let their posterity be cut off, and in the generation following, let their name be blotted out. Let the iniquity of their fathers be remembered with the Lord, with the Most High, with the Holy Spirit, and not the sin of their mother be blotted out. Let them be before the Most High continually. Let them be cut off the memory of them from the earth, because that they remembered not to show mercy. This is the part. Because that they remembered not to show mercy, but persecuted the poor and needy man, that they might even slay the broken in heart. As they loved cursing, so let it come unto them. As they delighted not in blessing, so let it be far from them. As they clothe themselves with cursing, like as with their garment, so let it come into their bowels like water, and like oil into their bones. Let it be unto them as the garment which covereth them, and for a girdle wherewith they are girded continually. Let this be the reward of mine adversaries from the Most High, and of them that speak evil against my soul. But do thou for me, O God, the Most High, divine Creator, deliver thou me, for I am poor and needy, and my heart is wounded within me. I am like the shadow when it declineth. I am tossed up and down as the locust. My knees are weak through fasting, and my flesh faileth of fatness. I became also a reproach unto them. When they looked upon me, they shaked their heads. Help me, O Most High, divine Creator. O save me according to thy mercy, that they may know that this is thy hand, that thou, Creator, hast done it. Let them curse, but bless thou. When they arise, let them be ashamed, but let thy servant rejoice. Let mine adversaries be clothed with shame, and let them cover themselves with their own confusion as with a mantle. I will greatly praise the Most High with my mouth. Yea, I will praise him among the multitude, for he shall stand at the right hand of the poor, to save them from those that condemn their soul. Okay, well, that's great. And obviously that needed to be said. So have I spoken, so shall it be, and so it is, and so it is, and so it is. They will be scattered across the earth like seeds in the wind. Their lack of power, their barrenness will bear no fruit. Stamp them out where you find them, but not their lineage of flesh, but their lineage of 𝗕spirituality, their lineage of their being bereft of wisdom. Relieve the land of such burdensome beings and remove them as a wart is removed from a body, is what I'm hearing. So it's going down, family. It's going down. And I just, I say, What did I say in my own prophecy? May the blessed be protected and the angels mercifully make their justice swift. That's all there is to it. Stay in your power. Respect yourself. Respect your energy. You are sovereign. They cannot take that from you. All right. I love you all truly and deeply. My name is Vie Darling, the Cosmic Queen, and your intergalactic interpreter. I am pioneering the spiritual practice of cosmic wellness here in the spiritual sanctuary of the Aetherium. Cosmic wellness is a practice that contextualizes our own experience within the greater cosmos, and it is built upon a foundation of shadow work called spiritual abolition that truly finds itself in decolonial praxis. So I say unto you, my loves, book a reading with me. You know where to find me, down in the description. There are all kinds of amazing things in my shop that can be of great use to you. And I will see you on the flip side. Happy hunting.